If you want to get better at making sales, this one tip will help you out a lot. I'm Dom Jackson with Cultivating Media, and this is the 7-Day Scoop Show, my weekly show where I document my career and decisions that I'm making. Here at Ventures Trying to Pursue, where I use my ventures and my stories to motivate and teach you. Now, in this story, the process of getting my van with Car Keys Express, it's been venture as usual. This week, I had a good amount of time selling and programming cars and leading the team. So out here in Houston, just been learning a fuck ton. But one of the times I had to relearn this week was relearning what I already knew. And that was with the sales department today. So, I had some time today where I was doing a lot more servicing the cars the past couple weeks. This week I had a little more time to do with the sales. And, with anything, you're going to get better at it, but then you have to get better at something else. So it's always like a balancing act of trying to improve all the skills at once. So I have a certain level of sales skills that I have, but then there's a level of it that changes when I focus on something else inside the business. And one thing that happened this week, that I was getting back into the sales process and like getting back into my groove, and I could feel myself being slow when there were moments when like, hey, I would answer a rebuttal a little faster, a little more confidently. So the pace of how I would talk and then like the delivery of it would be a lot more certain versus like, yeah, it's gonna be this, versus like, yeah, it's gonna be this. Or like, yeah, it's gonna be this. But like, yeah, it's gonna be this. And having the proper tone, pacing, and just like, I'm not flinching on this. So there's moments when I had sales when I would like not close correctly or just not close at all. And then luckily somebody came back the one day and like, it was like, hey, like I want to get it. And I was like, cool. Why the hell didn't I close? So my tip for getting more sales versus the sales I've been doing has been really making sure you practice it enough times to know what the fuck you need to be saying, and make sure your confidence is good and your tone is good when you're actually communicating, speaking all the way through with the same level of consistency and patterns. So my tip is that when you're in a sale, to transfer energy, and it's more about conveying who's more confident in their world. Who's more confident in their world? And with that, I had this moment when I was telling someone a key, and we get their keys to like examine them really quick, but it's also part of the sales process because I already have your key. It's easier for me to convert you into buying a sale because you already gave me your key. You trust me with your key, so obviously you're gonna trust me with the next part of it. But one of the members, I was still talking like normal and interacting, and then she lifted up her hand up to get the key back from me, and I lifted my hand up to give the key back to her. Now, you would have to be, the good news is that like I've done this enough times, I was locked in enough to see that interaction and remember the interaction and catch it. So there's a ton of little things indicating who is stronger in the interaction. So this person is leading because she put her hand up first, and I followed. So her world was stronger. So she didn't buy the sale. She said, "Oh, I have to think about it," because I didn't have enough conviction, trust, and belief in myself and what I was doing to show her like, hey, let's go to the next step right now. And that little one moment reinforced everything I was saying, because like on my hottest day in sales, I got over like 100 points in the day, and I was like, what am I doing different that I wasn't doing before? I was like, oh yeah, I'm just assuming things a lot more, So it's like, hey, yeah, with the words, when you get your new key, when I'm saying when you're gonna do this, we'll do this, we'll take care of this. Assuming the sales is one of the biggest principles. And when I'm not doing that, I'm not getting the sales. Or I'm like, yeah, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Like, here's what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to get it done. That is how you got to convey the entire time with the sales process. But to get that level of conviction and confidence to come out and even to interact and move like that, you have to be in a certain mentality of like, yeah, I can do this. I'm sure of this. And it's just interesting because when I'm doing more of the other stuff, I'm more confident there. I'm like, okay, I can get this as far as servicing the cars, picking out what car to go to next. And versus when I'm trying to when I'm just selling, and I have to really make sure every single thing I do lines up so the person knows that I'm the right person to go to for the sale. Now, the biggest thing I can say, the biggest sales tip I can give, just in that one interaction, is reminding me, is that you have to believe more than they do in what you're doing, and the conviction will transfer over because you'll act more like it's already done. And assuming the sales is one of the biggest principles, what that looks like is like, okay, you're acting as if they're already going to do it. So here's a prime example of something that I do when I'm like on versus when I'm not on. So when we're selling, it's a first time interaction, so it's a cold sales transaction. They might come with some intent. Most of the time, I'm interrupting your day, and then I'm telling you you're gonna need a key. You should get it right now, and they'll be like, that's the basis of what I'm doing. And the goal is to go from, okay, I do need a key, and I'll get it right now because you got me, and that's the basis of it in the right way. Now, in that interaction, there are several micro interactions of them debating, one, if they should trust us, two, if I'm competent enough to do the job, and three, will actually be done in a coordinated manner. Now, luckily, we already with bigger retailers, so it's like, you're already a member, you already buy at this store already. We're with them, so you can trust us. But as far as the level of personal competence for why our product is the most important thing to get right now, it's a big confidence game. So what we need to do, and what the overall sales principle is that you just need to make sure you acting out the steps of them buying the key before they even basically like say no. Because when they have to think about it, they'll say no. Like, thought usually means no. But if you make it so easy for them, they're like, oh yeah, like they just have to do it. Yeah, I'll do it right now. So with that, so let's say we walk up, the person's right. I walk up to the person, they're right in front of me, and I'm right here. We're interacting, we're talking. So while we're talking, I've already told them how to get everything done, the process, the steps. They go pay here, we do it here, done about 10-15 minutes. One of the things that we do, let's say if I'm by the van, I'll do the turn and burn. So I'll turn away because you have to fill out paperwork on the clipboard. I'll turn away, go grab the clipboard, and then come back and give it to them. So like, while they're still waiting and thinking, I'm already talking and like closing the sale with my words. My actions are, you already buying this shit right now. Cause like, I already assumed you're gonna buy the key. And that's like the real art, is like knowing how to do the right little things to help them get to that decision right now. And, figuring out what those things are, for instance, assuming the sale and what that looks like, okay, cool. Are you saying the right words when they buy this, when it's done? We'll give you this afterwards. Using words that already assume that they're going to do it, then using the right action. So, I already have the clipboard set up, I already have the pen set up. I'm making it easier for them to say yes than it is to say no, because I already built up the value of like, this is what you need to do. And this is the steps going to get you there. We just need your consignment. We just need your name, phone number, signature, and get it done. And it's what I'm like about to do right now is to write down all of these so that I can have them in my head of like, here, these are the actions I need to be doing. Because the process of getting back into like my best sales state it takes some work, because I have to remember what things I was doing before, and not like second nature because I'm working on something else. And one of the biggest issues between me being where I am now versus me having my own actual van and my own fleet of vans after that is knowing how to get back to the same skill level I was in one position when I was doing it more often versus when I'm not doing it that often. So you might change that. You could do a whole month. When you operate the whole thing, you solve every problem. You have to be able to do any role and do it at a high level, and that's what puts you in the result of getting it. And that's why I am right now. That's the next spot of trying to go to the next level, because it takes me a little bit to adjust. I would say I might need a day and a half to be at the same level of performance for one position versus the next position, which that doesn't sound too crazy, a day and a half, depending on what it is. But like, to really be doing it at the high level, I need to do that within like, if not the same day, at least within like 2 hours. So I need to be able to sell at the level I would sell at my peak selling position in 2 hours. I need to be able to service the level I'd service at my peak within like 2 hours, or at least have no transition between it. Like, you can put me any spot at any time and I perform at the same level every single time consistently. But I've been doing a lot more on the serving side, on the teching side, and I've gotten a lot faster. My manual cuts are like back to the standard they need to be. My problem solving, this car is this issue, this car is this issue. But in a nutshell though, the best way you can do for sales, for what this video's purpose is making sure you have the conviction and figure out what little things you should do to get the big result you need. tone, body language, attitude. As always, take it one step at a time. You get there day by day.